I just want to throw it out there. If you are going to do a sump or an Airdog or a fast, whatever, if you plan to take it to a shop, please have that thing, have your truck with the fuel light.
Mine come back every time, baby. I'ma keep you craving. Baby, I'ma keep you craving.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. I just want to say I wasn't expecting that first video to do as well as it did, but thank you guys all for watching, sharing, commenting. I had a few people reach out, kind of give me some advice. So I'm going to try to use that advice in this video, but we'll go ahead and get this video started. Our boys at Airdog hooked us up with a pump for Onion. It's just their 165, and then we have the Airdog sump. I like using the Airdog sump because it's smaller, not as bulky. It's got a real good seal. I haven't had one leak yet. And 165, so obviously we beat the piss out of this truck. Here recently it's been throwing a low side fuel pressure issue, and that should be the ticket right there. So I'll probably set you up on a time lapse, show you how we're going to install this Airdog. Before we jump into getting the Airdog installed, I'll just do a quick overview of the truck. A lot of you guys might not know what I was talking about with Onion, but this is our Burnout truck. Occasionally we'll use it for like a shop truck, but we got a 6th gen 2026 bed on it because when I bought it, it had a service bed on it, and we were going to keep the service bed on it for the Burnouts, but I still wanted it to be a clean truck. We also got the JTXs on it. Obviously the rears we will swap out with other tires when we're in the pit, but for the most part this is the most basic build you can really do, other than we have the hater pipe and the wastegate pipe coming out the fender. We did a Taterbilt. It's a G45 77 millimeter 2nd gen swap on it. It's got head studs, cheap intake over here. I mean, the truck's got, man, 373,000 miles on this unit. And I mean, she loves it. She's happy. It's obviously, as you can tell, 2-wheel drive with how low it sits. Yesterday, me and Jesse were in the shop. Davenant Forged LEDs sent us over the rock lights. I didn't think a lot of people would be interested in watching us install the same rock light 24 times, but I'll insert a clip of what it looked like once we got done.
Wow! Incredible!
But for now, let's get this thing up in the air and get started on this Airdog. How's that TikTok go? Something like that? Yeah, I do it all the time. I'm not offended. So a lot of people, when they do their sump, they will always try to put it where the circle is on the tank because it's flat, it's towards the back. Well, the problem with that, your sending unit is right above this. So when you drill through that, you're going to hit the sending unit, and you can mess up a lot of stuff in there. So what I like to do, I like to just move forward a little bit, find a nice smooth area, not way up here because under braking, whatever, you could still starve it from fuel. So move it back here. It's a sump, so I mean, the fuel is going to go to the lowest point possible. I think we're going to stick it right there. So with the sump, typically what I'll do is I get a drill bit that fits in there nice. That way, when I have this positioned where I want it, so we'll go about right here, I can just go underneath of it, like so. That's gonna tell me pretty much center. So we'll just start drilling. Mark it out, and then just make sure you got your bucket underneath of it. And typically I'll try to use an older drill, because once you are drilling these sumps, it gets covered in diesel fuel, and some like it, some really hate it. And now we'll just let that drain. Once it stops draining, we will drill the rest of the hole for the sump. This already had like a, not even 1/8 of a tank in it, like 1/16 of a tank. I had the fuel light on for like 2 weeks on this truck. Another thing to help with flow, so it's not erratic like that, just loosen up the fuel cap. So while this is draining, let's go get the Airdog pump ready to go. So we got all the fuel line. Here's our engine harness. The draw straw. This comes in about, it's literally every kit. We never use them because every time we install one, we always install the sump, just because it's the most effective way to run the Airdog. But this is another option if you do not want to drill a hole in your tank. Got the 165 pump. We got our frame mount brackets. And then we got the hardware box. Also, this instruction manual, make sure you open it. There's a green envelope in here. You'll just put like your serial number, name. That's all for warranty. So if you ever have an issue with your pump, they can tell you like purchase date, know exactly what parts are in your pump to get you fixed back up or with a replacement pump. Also, cool little Airdog sticker in there. So, let's get the hardware open. So in here you're going to have all of your fittings, all your push lock fittings for the fuel line, fittings that go into the pump. These are the mounting bolts for the frame brackets and for the pump to this bracket right here, which that's what the Airdog sits on, like so. And then your spacer block. They also throw in some zip ties. So with these Airdog 2 5Gs, you can see they have an adjustable regulator on it. These are preset for like your factory spec. You shouldn't really have to adjust the screw. Obviously, if you turn that in, that's going to give you more pressure, or you back it off for less pressure. Typically, you don't have to adjust this. I mean, once you start adding power to your truck and then you do need a little bit more fuel pressure, then I would start messing with it. They also have, so you can do fuel by boost, which is pretty nice. You just plumb that in, so it's all boost reference to control your fuel. But when I mount these pumps, so I always put them on the inside frame rail if I can. Depending on the year, some trucks are different. So it'll be sitting on the inside frame rail like this. So with having it like that, this plug over here, that's going to be your fuel coming in, and then you got a smaller one over here, and then a big one that'll be fuel to engine, and then this will get returned back into our sump. once we get all of our line plumbed in. The fuel's done draining. We'll go ahead and get our 2-inch hole. I use a spider bit. I got that at Lowe's. Depending on what sump you use, I know like the bean sumps, they'll come with the hole saw bit, but like I said, the Airdog sump that we're using, it's a 2-inch hole, and this one's pretty sharp, and I've used it multiple times. So go ahead and get this hole drilled out. Right before I go through it, I try to get all the loose stuff out, just so it don't end up in the tank. I just want to throw it out there. If you are going to do a sump or an Airdog or a fast, whatever, if you plan to take it to a shop, please have that thing, have your truck with the fuel light on. There's been a few trucks I've done that knowingly they was going to get an Airdog and they bring it full, so then I got to account for 30-40 gallons of fuel to drain before I can drill the hole or put the sump in, and then I got to put all that fuel back in. So that kind of makes for a hassle. If you know you're going to put an Airdog or a sump in your truck, please run it until the fuel light's on. Bring it here, fuel light on. We will get the Airdog put in, put fuel in it for you, or you pick it up, make it to the fuel station. But that just saves a lot of hassle, a lot of potential mess cleanup, and just makes everybody happier. So please remember that when you guys go to do this on your own truck or if you take it to a shop. And now back to the video. We get a little bit more fuel draining out of there, but let that do its thing. It might make a little bit of a mess, but normally not too bad. Always make sure to, like, obviously wear gloves, but stick your finger in there. There's going to be a little bit of plastic residue. I've seen it before where people leaves all this up in here and then it ends up in their filters and just makes for a bad day. So try to get it as clean as you can. Now I'll grab the sump and we'll get that going. Alright, so we'll get the sump ready. I went ahead and lubed these O-rings. Got these tightened up. I just use a deep well 22 and then a little bit of diesel fuel. Just do that, put it on the O-rings. So there's 2 O-rings, kind of self-explanatory where they go. The main thing, so with the sandwich plate, you can see that it has the holes. You want to make sure when you put this in that you got these holes on the bottom so that fuel can still flow into it. And then obviously you got to make sure that you get it on the dowel. So we'll get that going. So we got our lines all ran to the pump, and then we got the line from the pump here. On this return line, if you don't do a sump or say you're running a dual feed to your pump, you can take the return line that goes from here and typically it'll tee into the fuel neck up top. But for our application, we just go straight to the sump. As you can see, the fuel line goes, it just gets routed nice and neat up through with the factory lines, and once we get up in the engine bay, we can tuck all these wires in. But the main thing, the harness on these, so you don't, it's dummy proof. So your sending unit, the factory plug that goes in there now, you'll plug into here. This will plug into your sending unit, and this is going to jump it to where it gives you your key on power. Just makes it a whole lot better than trying to run power ground to a separate wire, fuse, whatever. So we'll get this knocked out down here, and then we'll get up top and I'll show you the rest. So we got our feed line ran all the way up to the pump. Kind of see right there. All you have to do, back of the pump, take out this fitting, put in the new supplied fitting for the 1/2 inch push lock. Good to go. Now we will finish the rest of the wiring harness and get some fuel back in this thing.